Hello, everybody. Good evening. Thank you so much for the invitation to speak today, and thank you to the Africa Canada Education Foundation for organizing this event. I'm very excited to be able to participate and really just see all these great faces and hear some amazing conversations today. And so happy Africa Day to everybody. It's such an important thing for us to be gathering, even though we are virtual, gathering together to celebrate where we've come from and where we're going. So I'm Dr. Love Ese Chile. My ancestors are from a place currently called Nigeria in Western Africa. I was born in Australia and raised in New Zealand. But I've been in Canada for about 10 years now. So very much an international person, I'm sure like many people on the conversation today. So what I'd like to speak with everyone about tonight is the importance of amplifying Black voices, especially Black women's voices in the science, technology, engineering, and maths fields. And so the work that I've been doing, I've been a researcher for, I guess, the last 10 years or so, and it's just become very evident, the real need for more diversity, more voices, more people at the table when we're thinking about building new technologies, asking different questions of our scientists and just really trying to drive the direction of our society. And since the Industrial Revolution, scientists have been innovating at a faster rate than ever before. We've created all of these technologies, like even the fact that we're here sitting in this virtual room together, 10 years ago would have been insane and crazy, let alone 50 years. And so all of these scientific discoveries and these disruptions have really been miracles for some, bringing wealth and prosperity. But for others, they've been destructive, really leading to environmental devastation and social inequality. And so as a young person, when I was growing up, I was fascinated with science and the world around me and just the ways that I could just kind of break everything apart and to see how everything was working. But I really recognized from quite a young age that this technological advancement is really a double-edged sword. We can create a lot of things, but we have to recognize that there's this impact both on us both on our culture and on our environment as well. And so I went to graduate school. I was really passionate about sustainability and trying to find ways to kind of bring more greenness and bring more environmental thinking into the work that I was doing. And so in graduate school, I was doing work on sustainable plastics. So my background is in plastics and trying to make biodegradable plastics. But when I was not doing my studies, I was really interested in the history of science. And I started to look at science from a historical lens, through a feminist lens as well, and realizing that the people who created science as an institution were all the same type of people, older white people who had a lot of privilege, a lot of time, a lot of money. And when Black people or people of color really engaged with science, it was quite an exploitative kind of interaction. Black bodies were being used. They were either being, from something as terrible as a forced sterilization to something which, is just unethical, really, to people being given vaccinations or being, experimented on even in some respects. And so from these kind of unethical and relatively damaging things to the Black psyche, just even to Black women or just Black bodies being excluded or being washed out of science. There's this great movie from a few years ago called Hidden Figures about all of the Black women who were part of the US space program who were just kind of erased from history. Black scientists like Katherine Johnson and Anne Easley, who are physicists and mathematicians, and Alice Ball, who was the first African-American woman to graduate from the University of Hawaii and created the treatment for leprosy. It's so few of these people that we actually hear about. And one of the opportunities, I think, when thinking about Black women being included in science, often we Black women, as was said before in this conversation, Black women are leaders of the family. They bring their community with them. And so when we're trying to make space within the science community for Black women, it's really important to consider that Black women are going to be asking questions which are going to benefit their communities. They're going to benefit more than just, their pocket or their bank account. They're going to be trying to find solutions to problems that are going to amplify and connect and just bring more people to the table and bring more innovation and things like that. And so yes, so I just wanted to kind of chat a little bit about that in a bit more detail. So one of the organizations that I'm part of, out of the University of British Columbia, is the Lu Institute Network for Africa. And so this organization is really excited and interested in harnessing and mobilizing the diverse African diaspora by creating spaces to elevate the African voice and experience. And so the goal of this organization called LINA is to really to do some wide-ranging knowledge mobilization and to start to establish and create platforms that will connect stakeholders that can influence policy and foster and cultivate solutions. Solutions about how global issues solutions about global issues affecting Africa and African issues affecting the world. And so, as was spoken about before, it's really all about what stories are being told. What are the narratives that are being put forth into our communities today? And ensuring that, making sure that Black women at the table to make sure, to be able to tell different stories and to actually create new technologies that are going to impact and influence not just themselves, but the community as a whole. And so in the work that I'm doing, I'm very much focused on green chemistry, sustainable science. And over the last 3 years or so, I've started 2 different companies. One of them called the Regenerative Waste Labs, and the other one is called Grey to Green Sustainable Solutions. And so being a person from diverse backgrounds, both professionally and personally, I've always been very driven to connect people who don't usually come together. And so I really want to be able to co-create products and services that lead our communities into a greener, more equitable world. And so my intersections lie at the kind of the crossroads between these ideas of circular economy, bioeconomy, green chemistry, sustainable science. And I'm really trying to take my scientific training into industry to try to communicate and translate this knowledge into new ventures and new initiatives as well. And so just a little bit about myself. I think there's going to be a question and answer in a few minutes, so we can definitely ask more questions about my role specifically. But I just wanted to leave you with a bit, with this idea that it's really important that we recognize that, as a Black woman, if you are a Black woman on this call, or even a Black man, a person of color in general, you are needed and you are valued in this space. And we need more Black people, Black women, Black men to be in these spaces so that when scientists and researchers are creating new technologies, creating new directions for our world to be going in, that we have this diversity of viewpoints, diversity of perspectives, because without it, we're going to continue to be excluded from these spaces. We're going to continue having to convince people that we need to be here. And so just want to leave everyone with today is that you are needed in this space. I definitely recommend for you to come and to join in on some science, technology, engineering, and maths enterprises or some nonprofits. Check out the Lu Institute Network for Africa. We have a few events coming up. And I look forward to any questions that you might have a bit later. Thank you.